Well, if you're like me, you probably have more than one empty spice jar in your cabinet because let's face it, they're decent jars, they're made out of glass, they could be used for something. Well, today I'm going to show you a cute project, what you can upcycle these spice jars into, and it's so addicting and cute, I don't think you'll ever have a collection of empty jars again.
I'm going to show you how to make these darling little mini vases using just 3 materials: tissue paper, Mod Podge, and a little bit of raffia.
So step number 1 is to clean out your jar. If your label is easy to peel off, go ahead and do that. But if it's not and it's going to take you forever, you can actually leave it on. So to make these mini flower vases, you're only really needing 3 pieces of equipment, right? So you've got your jars, and you definitely want these lids on top because that's going to help stabilize your flowers when you stick them in. You don't need the caps so much. Tissue paper is the name of the game. Anything tissue paper works really well to cover up these jars. And we're using Mod Podge, which is basically a watered down glue. And that's going to be how we stick our paper to the jars. And it's also how we're going to be sealing the outside of the jar. So the first step is to tear up your paper. Now you can use lighter colored paper if you want to. I'm choosing to use dark paper because I don't feel like peeling these labels off. You can still cover it. So that's what I'm doing. Just kind of covering up my whole jar here. And then I'm going to cut off the excess paper. Here comes the messy part, is using the Mod Podge. So this is just a lightweight paintbrush, nothing fancy. And I'm just kind of spread the glue around. That's basically what it is, watered down glue. The reason it's watered down is because when it dries clear. And so it's a great way to seal paper for art projects. Now, it's going to get a little wrinkly and overlap a little bit. That's okay. Part of the reason why Mod Podge is fun is that you can do a lot of layers. Now, depending on your tissue paper, this could stain your hands once it gets wet. So just a word of caution. So you go over on the outside and inside, all the inside layers, so that it's gluing together. Now it's more watery than glue, so it takes a while for it to dry. So I might have to take a break here and let it dry out. And if you have one thin single layer, it might be prone to tearing, so watch out for that. I'm gonna let this dry and decide if I want to put other colors on it. So let's take a look at how things are drying. So there's still a little bit of white there, and that's not all the way dry. You can still see a little bit of lettering under there, but I'm going to add more tissue paper, more layers, and I need to add some more right there in this corner because it tore. You can see the glass down there. So if I want to think about doing a contrasting color, I do think this gold looks really nice. Maybe like a stripe of gold, but also thinking about doing another color of blue underneath this. So maybe I want to do half, I think this is supposed to be black, but it kind of looks like a dark blue. So maybe two-tone like that, and then maybe put the gold in the middle. How about that? I just love how the tissue paper just all folds right up when you apply the Mod Podge. One of the most fun things about it. I didn't quite get enough there. That's okay. You can blend your mistakes right in and it sort of fades into the background. Okay, so the jars are 90% dry, but I did want to add one finishing touch around the neck of the jars, and that is tying on a piece of raffia. So this is a nice little rustic finishing piece. I'm just tying, I'm not gluing it or anything. yeah, I think it's just a nice way to sort of finish it off. And I'm going to trim the ends here. I'm going to leave some of it a little bit long. The next step would be to add water in these little mini vases and then add the flowers. So earlier today, I picked some flowers in my garden dome in the middle of December. So these are a mix of snapdragons and daisies. There we go. Definitely a fun little project, easy to do in an afternoon. Yeah, definitely a fun trick. I think you're not going to be throwing out any more spice jars. If you love this cottagecore, garden core art, love little art projects you can do with flowers, hit subscribe, follow along, and we'll see you in the next video.